if I cough or stream, well, not stream, I meant sneeze. If I cough or sneeze or sniffle, just please, sniffle doesn't sound like a word. Is that how you say it? Like when you, like you got, is that? Anyways, the point is, I'm under the weather. I feel like I sound better today, right? But my throat is real sensitive. That sound okay. Let me. Thank you for 60. This is the worst start to a video I've ever had in my life, by the way. Thank you for 63.3k subs. I appreciate the love and support. And I wanted to make this video because I understand that Beast Gohan is like the main attraction of part 2, right? Like you're basically pulling up to a theme park and you're getting online for just one guy, right? But I don't think that means that we should be disrespecting or just completely overlooking the gammas. And while this is a gamma glaze video, I'm not going to sit here and just say that you should just summon for gammas over beasts, right? Like that's not the point of this video. It's just to not completely disregard this character. And if you are someone who loves running, let's say, superheroes, gammas are, I would at least consider, a must run on that team. And when I say must run, I don't mean like if you have them, you gotta run them, right? But if you don't have them, it's not like you have to go out of your way, right? Whereas with superheroes, you can run superheroes, but if you don't have Beast Gohan, you need Beast Gohan on that team to make it just that much better. But again, as you can see, superheroes just has so many juggernauts that you don't necessarily need to have the gammas to make this team work. But if you have the gammas, just because of how good they really are, I could see them being like a staple on this superheroes team. And one thing I'll mention really quick is I got no subscriber challenge, by the way. I feel like I have been doing push-ups since I've been getting called lacking all these days. So let me just do a few more push-ups, get it out of my system, and then I'll go back to catching you in your forehead lacking. But one thing I want to, I guess, start off with is just the banners for these the banners. Yeah, the banners for these part 2 characters. Bro, I sound so out of it. Oh, stream later today, by the way. So when it comes to when it comes to the gammas, this is the worst video I've ever recorded. When it comes to the gammas, their banner is not even close to the value of the Beast Gohan banner, and that's just objectively true. However, the only case that isn't true is if you're someone who, let's say, has most of these characters already in your box, but you don't have most of these characters already in your box, right? So let's say you have every character on this banner, not including Beast or not including Krillin and 18, obviously, since they're new, but you don't have a single character on this banner. This banner is objectively just more valuable to you specifically, because a new character will always be better than a dupe of another character, right? Getting one dupe of Beast Gohan is definitely very good, but getting one new copy of the gammas is just going to benefit you so much more in your box, because look at all these other categories and teams that you're going to be able to now buff up and strengthen, versus not being able to do that because you just got a dupe of a character, which can definitely make your Beast Gohan stronger, obviously, but it's not the same, right? Impact wise into your box, it's just not the same. So depending on what characters you have already in your box will determine overall which banner is more valuable to you. But like if we're going pound for pound or unit by unit, then you know this banner is just obviously just better. And then in terms of characters themselves, I mean, Beast Gohan comes out of the gate basically just one-shotting and, you know, giving everyone back shots basically. Well, the gammas here, they sort of have, I'm not gonna say a build-up, but they have some hoops to go through. But it doesn't really mean that they're bad either. Superheroes 200% is disgusting, by the way. This is, again, a very, 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 very strong team. The thing is, the question you have to ask yourself is this a character that you really want to run as lead? Because if you run this character as lead, you might want to run another gammas as lead. And while running 2 gammas is not really a bad idea because of the support, you have to really ask yourself, what other rotations are you going to be running, right? But because of the honestly, now that I think about it, running your own gammas as lead having Beast Gohan on the team and having 2 floating Gammas is actually disgusting. So the beautiful point about the Gammas is, again, 200% lead is great. Raising defense on both 12 and 18 key is beautiful. And the main, at least, call to fame that I think Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 have is superheroes, join forces, or defenders of justice, 3 key and 50%. That is, sorry, to both stats. That is an incredible buff. Imagine you have 2, let's say you have 1 rotation of UI Goku and Evolution Blue Vegeta, and your other rotation is like Beast Gohan and Gogeta, right? You're just having some fun with these anniversary characters and these anniversary EZAs. That's 4 characters. And now you have 2 Gammas floating in and out of every single rotation, giving all allies 3 key 50%. That just feels unfair for how strong that really is, right? You also have the ability to launch guaranteed up to 2 additional super attacks per turn, granted that you get into key spheres, which, since I've never played with this character and have not watched much gameplay since I want to be surprised, I would assume that it's not super hard to get, but probably that, you know, it's going to be a little inconsistent, right? Because this character, at least in this form, isn't creating into key sphere, so you just have to get lucky or at least manipulate the field, which, again, this to me is a slot 3 character because of their ability to defend as well as support. I'm not saying that they're going to be the best in slot 3, but I would use them because, again, the behemoths that you have on superheroes, you just got to focus on these guys in slot 1 and 2 versus the Gammas, in my opinion. But they work in slot 3, which is the point, right? And so if you're able, with the first 2 characters on the rotation, to manipulate the field to get 2 in orbs, then launching 3 additional super attacks per turn, raising your defense each time, is going to make this character, of course, very, very strong. And you are already starting at 6 key and 250% to stats when HP is 30% or more, which is going to be most of the time, right? And then, of course, you're also giving yourself these stats, so they're really at, 9 key and 300% to stats. Of course, it's multiplicative. I don't think you just add the stats on top of each other like that. And then whenever this character performs 3 attacks, you're literally getting an extra 50% to attack and so basically 350% to stats and 30% damage reduction. And all you really have to do is perform 3 or more attacks or have your HP below 70% in order to enter the standby mode. And in the standby mode, they get a little better. This to me is so strong, dude. Being able to raise allies' defense by 50% for 1 turn is very strong. The only issue with this is that, again, if you're running this guy in slot 3, right, you're not really going to, this is basically useless. The only way this becomes useful is if you have the Gammas in slot 2, or if you have the Gammas in slot 1, right? Because that way the characters in slot 3 and 2 can benefit from this. But like I mentioned, I'm running this guy in slot 3, so standby mode wise, this doesn't really mean much to me. But again, 6 key, basically they just condensed this part of their passive, 20-50% and 50% damage reduction, an extra 50% defense when attacking, an extra 3 key and 50% to stats, including themselves when it comes to that. And then you also have the additional super attack stuff, which can get you even more defense, up to 3, maybe even 4 per turn, because you can get your own plus these 2, which is 3, plus your hidden potential one, assuming that you have either some equips or some, either some equips or some dupes in this character. And that's pretty much, again, and when it comes to the standby mode, depending on who you're facing and whatever the case is, I mean, you can try and stall to get as much damage as possible with the finish attack with Gamma 2 there. But what I really like about this character is Gamma 1, and this is going to, again, take some time to see, but Gamma 1 in slot 3 on the superheroes or joined forces team is disgusting, dude. We're talking about, as long as your HP is 30% or more, we're talking about 6 key, 300% to both attack and defense, and 30% damage reduction. 6 key, 300% to attack and defense, and 30% damage reduction is very, 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 very strong. And we also, again, are supported. Oh, no, we get additional stats when attacking, which is multiplicative. So it's more than 350 if we're adding it on top of this, right? It's more than 350. And then you have to factor in another 3 key and 50% that all these allies are getting, including the gammas themselves. So now we're talking about more than 400% to attack and defense. We're talking about 9 key and 30% damage reduction. You have a guaranteed additional, which means you're gonna easily get this 18 key. Let's be real, right? And when you do get this 18 key, you're gonna greatly raise your own attack and defense by 50%. You're going to again increase your own defense by 50% again, and all allies' defense for 2 turns. So imagine you have this guy in slot 3 with AGL, or let's say even Tech UI Goku when it comes to global and into Evolution Blue Vegeta. And you get this guy in slot 3 who busts this out, and then now you have your next rotation of Beast and Gogeta who are being affected by this. But if you also have another Gammas in that rotation that are giving, like, it just becomes so stupid so quick. I think if you have 2 Gammas, honestly, I really want to try that team. Actually, I want to try a double Gammas team and see how that works, because the team I would run is the Gammas lead, but Beast, I'm putting Beast and Gogeta together because, you know, there's just, I want to see how they perform together. But AGL UI and Evolution Blue Vegeta with their EZA together, and then a friend Gammas, and then maybe like Pan or something, and then another supporting option. But I just think that having those rotations is just gonna be so dumb, dude. And then of course you get additional, again, guaranteed additional super attack, which we already talked about. But this part of their passive here, chance of performing a critical hit plus 20% up to 100, and reduces damage received by 10% up to 50 per int or STR keys you obtained. So again, if you are in slot 3, you have the ability to manipulate the field, right? Depending on the boss you're fighting, because sometimes bosses will lock, right? But you have the ability, let's say my rotation looks like, you know, AGL UI into Evolution Blue Vegeta and the Gammas, right? So when I'm collecting key spheres with AGL UI and into Evolution Blue Vegeta, I'm gonna try and steer clear of STR or int orbs, and maybe even collect orbs that will allow these to fall. Because if I can get 5 of either one of them, which, I mean, it's a lot easier to get 5 of one or the other than 5 of just int, right? So I like this. But also you're changing orbs too. I completely read over that, which is, of course, is very strong. But imagine you get 5 of these orbs, right? Now you're talking about 80% damage reduction, guaranteed crit when you're attacking, guaranteed 2 times per turn with over 450% to attack and defense, greatly raising that attack and defense multiple times while supporting all allies, including yourself, for 2 turns. The Gammas are really good. And if you're struggling with special pose missions, joint forces missions, android mission, worthy rival missions, and trusted, this is the character that you want to put on that team. So honestly, I was always on the fence of whether I wanted to skip the Gammas or not, but after just reading their kit again, before the video and after the video, and just visualizing all the things, there's no way I'm skipping the Gammas, man. I'm going for Beast first, obviously, because this is, you know, this is him, right? But I really want Gammas on the superheroes team to see how it performs. I will be doing best team videos when these guys drop, so make sure to stay tuned. Thank you for your love and support. I'll see you in the next one. Merry Christmas and good night.